Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Tonight I've got a bit of a surprise video. Had a package show up on my doorstep from MSDE, and normally they send me an email letting me know whenever we've got new releases and whatnot, but this one's a bit of a surprise, so I figured we'd unpack it together and kind of take a look. So overall, feels relatively light, so I'm thinking maybe this is a shirt or something of the sort, but I'm not sure. We just had the Momentum release drop, so be sure to go ahead and check that out, as well as the new 10mm belt design. But yeah, this came separately, so I'm kind of curious what we're looking at here in the package. All right, this is cool. Got a nice MSDE box, solid. Let's go ahead and open it up. Wow. So these are, looks like MSDE straps, which I did not know that they were coming out with. My first impression on these, you know, they look very high quality, as to be expected with MSDE. You've got the MSDE logo, which is kind of in a rubber print there. And then you have the, I guess this would be Kevlar or woven fiber, I'm not sure, overall. So I'll go ahead and bring this up to the camera. You can see the rubber logo. And then inside we've got a checkered pattern, as well as the outside. So I'm looking forward to using these. I have used the same Harbinger straps for years at this point. So definitely a useful release from MSDE, because, you know, this is in my bag every day, and probably one of my only pieces of equipment that aren't MSDE. So let's see. Go ahead and put this through like this. Nice and comfortable. This different pattern definitely has a more comfortable design to wrap around the wrist. And then we pull it through like that, like so. So I'm definitely looking forward to using these in training. I've got my heavy day tomorrow. I usually don't use straps for that, so I probably won't test these out. But at the start of next week, whenever I have my secondary deadlifts, I'll certainly give these a try. So, hey everyone, so I'm back, and you just saw that clip of me unboxing the new MSDE deadlifting straps. And they actually sent them to me before I knew they were coming out, so that video was a bit of a raw reaction, and I just wanted to get that out immediately so that you could see my reaction to getting to see what they actually were. Now I wanted to sit down, it's the day before the release, and I wanted to give a review of those straps. So in the last couple of days since I received them, I was able to use them for an accessory deadlift day, some accessory rows, and then probably most importantly for my heavy deadlift session on Saturday, where I pulled 302 kilos for some sets of 4. So I feel like with a couple sessions under my belt, I can give a solid kind of bit of feedback and first impressions of them, rather than just looking at them out of the box. So I did want to make a comparison to my Harbinger straps. I think that's how you pronounce that. I've actually had these for a few years at this point. Honestly, this past year is the most I've ever used straps. I usually just use my hands to deadlift, but I've gone through some phases where I've deadlifted like 3 times a week, as I'm doing right now. And in those cases, I like to use straps to kind of save my hands a little bit. So these are the straps that I have been using, And I don't have a tag or anything to tell me what they're mostly made out of, but just by feeling them, they feel like cotton lifting straps, and they're also pretty stiff, and you can kind of see by how they sit. They don't sit flat. That's one from a lot of use, but also from being made out of this cotton, you get this fraying from the bar because it's a softer material. So there's frays along the edges of these, and my other strap is actually worse. There's a spot where it's in danger of tearing, and that's where eventually you tear wraps or straps that way, because they get worn under the bar, and then with heavy enough loads they fail. Now, looking at these SBD straps, and kind of with that in mind, that these are the only straps I've ever owned, okay, so that's my perspective that I'm coming from. These are certainly much more higher quality. The first thing that I notice is that texture. This is a little bit more slick. SBD decided to use a combination of materials. I think they list it as a mix of Kevlar and I think it's polyester that they have as this reb material. I could be wrong. Go ahead and check that on me on their website. But it is a whole lot more slick, which tells me right away this probably has a lesser chance of fraying. And then also you can see the side material is different from this inside material. So it's reinforced so that it doesn't have this fraying on the side that I was mentioning, to actually have that probability of tearing. The other thing that I notice is the flexibility, right? So this is way more stiff than the SBD straps, but on the part that actually goes on your wrist, it is woven differently to kind of be more supportive, and this is the area that's most likely to break off. So right where it's going to get that wear, you have that extra support as well. Now, as far as performance goes, I really like these. They are a little bit slick, which means they can be harder to hold on to, but it's made up for by the flexibility of the material, and there is a little bit of extra length here, not a ton, right? They are very close. You get about a centimeter of extra length on the SBD straps, but the difference here is actually in where the strap starts. So this Harbinger strap has the padding, so you're kind of limited on how you can wrap this around your wrist, whereas the SBD strap is much more just uniform all the way across. The loop is bigger on the SBD strap, so plenty of space to loop it through, and then it's plenty flexible, so you can get several wraps around the bar for your sets, right? So that it is secure. And I noticed with chalk, the little bit of slickness is totally good. And if there's a trade-off in durability, which I'm pretty confident that there will be, then it's a no-brainer that you would switch to these. Now, as far as logo goes, it is a nice, like, rubberized SBD logo, so I really like that. And hey, red and black, that's always been my go-to color, even before I worked with SBD. So overall, I wanted to keep this review short, but just something to give you an idea. The construction of these is very high quality, as to be expected from SBD. They were super comfortable to use on my heavy deadlift sets and bros, and they seem not to get worn nearly as easily as these Harbinger straps, which I would expect. These are pretty cheap straps, but these are cotton-based like most straps, whereas SBD used polyester, and I believe it was Kevlar, like I said, to support these. So I'm excited to add these to my gym bag, kind of get rid of those, and have another piece of SBD equipment in my bag. I appreciate you all watching. Hopefully, if you're interested, this helped you out. Ask in the comments down below if you have any other questions that I could help out with. This one was pretty straightforward. And like and subscribe as always. And until next time, happy lifting.